Recording. Great morning, everybody. So excited to be here with you. Everybody's been on the group before, but again, for a quick synopsis, we break this down into 8 categories. Today, we're going to dive into LinkedIn a lot more and really dissect this. Ryan is a superstar when it comes to this. I mean, the guy's got over 15 years of experience in marketing, really specifically honing in and helping mid-sized companies find that brand, right? And being realigned. So he's kind of like a jack of all trades. He's done the graphic design side. He's worked in the management capacity, was a former COO, and he's built a personal and regional brand. So I'm fired up. As you can tell, he's got an amazing energy if you have been on this morning already. And so again, we are not here to promote our business. We're really here to leverage knowledge and to help each other as business owners. Okay. So as you guys know, we're going to give Ryan the floor. He's got a really good presentation. And then once he completes the presentation, we're going to open it up for Q&A. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and jot them down in the meantime. But without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you, Ryan. Let's go ahead and dive into this.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the opportunity. Good morning, everybody. So this is about a 45-minute presentation that we're going to do the Cliff Notes version of. So we're going to go through some stuff, focus on others, and any questions, happy to take those. So let me just share my screen. Can you let me share my screen? And then we can rock and roll. Okay. All right, everybody can see that?
Yes.
All right, sweet. All right, let's go. So a little bit about us, right? So I'm with Clearbridge Branding Agency. We're a full marketing branding agency over here in South Jersey. We've got offices in Philly and Chicago. And really what we do is we help people build brands. We built a great squad here. Our VP of Digital is an expert writer for Forbes. Our VP of Strategies, done national campaigns for KFC and Taco Bell. So what we do is we help companies really focus on what their brand looks like. And kind of what we're going to go over today is realizing that even though you work for somebody, you are still the brand for that company. And that's where LinkedIn really comes in to be leveraged. So let me just set my clock here so I can make sure we're all good on time. All right. So real quick. So this is something that they don't really talk about a lot, but if you check out this website on the bottom here, linkedin.com/sales/SSI. What that does is it gives you a breakdown on your profile and really lets you know like where you're succeeding and where you're doing a lot of damage in the 4 different categories. So take a minute, check that out. They don't really talk about that very much. Everybody here kind of is aware of LinkedIn, so we're going to run through some of this. Remember that your headshot's super important. It's the first impression that everybody sees, right? Don't be like these people over here with Captain Duckface and the chick with the sunglasses in the arm. Like, I don't really know these 3 people here, but I do know the woman with the sunglasses because that is my wife and that is my arm. So all good. And remember, it's a different platform and there's different audiences on that, right? So on the left, this is the same guy on Facebook and the same guy on LinkedIn. So keep that in mind. One of the most important things that we really see here on LinkedIn is the importance of your profile page. Remember, your resume can only be about a page long. So your LinkedIn page profile really allows you to kind of show off who you are and what you do. So if you have not in quite some time, go back and go to the profile page. You'll see an area that says add profile sections, and go through that and spend some time and really beef it up, right? So remember, everything is short and sweet. Nobody reads anymore. So you want to keep all of your paragraphs to like 4 to 5 sentences. If you need to add more stuff in your experience section, bullet points, 10 words or less. And remember, I think the biggest thing is, remember, your headline is not the current position that you have. It is what you do for people, how you help people out, maybe the type of client that you're looking for. So if you have VP of regional sales, that's not correct. People will find that out when they scroll down to your experience section. All right, posting, right? So before we get into posting and all that, let's talk about what the platform looks like, right? So there's 660 million people on LinkedIn, right? There's 43% women, 57% males. All right, we got about between the ages of 30 and 49, about 37%, and there's 30 million businesses on LinkedIn. All right, remember, it's not about selling to people, right? The good old days of buy my book are dead and gone, right? So it's that 80-20 balance, really more that 85-15 balance, right? People want to get to know who you are. It's the difference between culture content and corporate content, right? Remember, pictures like this are important. You know, if you're in a group, take pictures, tell everybody how much fun you had. If you're doing Zoom calls, if you're going back out to networking events, that's huge, right? Remember the early days of Barstool Sports on Instagram, right? When Instagram had first started, Barstool became one of the biggest ones out there, and this was before they had all of their facilities and all their shows and all their podcasts and their studios. The way that they really grew that Instagram page was utilizing other people's content as their own. So if you get stuck on stuff, you don't know what to do, I don't like to be in front of the camera, analysis by paralysis, every morning you start your routine on the internet the same way. Okay. There are 5 to 8 websites that you are checking every day. And those are either things that you're interested in, your hobbies, or something that's integrated into your industry. So put that content out and put your 2 cents out there and really push that out there. Okay. Next, right? For me, I always like to do 5 easy things: face, place, people, hashtags, headlines, right? So I always like to have my mug in places. I don't take pictures of myself because I know what I look like, but I want other people to know who I am, right? Zoom stuff all day now and really telling people a story. So, you know, I kind of have, always have some sort of a line there. I'm utilizing my hashtags, right? And then I'm tagging the people and the organizations in there. You know, other things too is like I'll be at different events and I'm going to take, notes on the people that are in the event if I go to networking stuff, so I don't forget everybody that's there, because some organizations don't send out lists because I want to tag all those people in that, right? You know, I want to also take a picture of the room with speakers or CEOs or people that I network with, right? So if you look at this, I was at an event. This was a board meeting I was at for an event we were doing, and I tagged 17 people in that. Why is that important, right? Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my content in other people's lanes, because I want that content to be seen from people that are in my network that I don't know. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, I added this because it was driving me crazy. If you're on a computer and you're still taking pictures of the screen with your cell phone, write these down. If you're on a Mac, it's Shift Command 3. If you're on a Windows, it's Command Print Screen. That way you don't have to go like this and take a picture with your phone of your computer screen. So, all right, moving on. What does this look like? All right, so I have a post, right? I tag 3 people in that post. All right, and before we go into this, first connection, I know Keegan. Keegan knows me. Second connection, Keegan knows Josh. I know Keegan. Josh doesn't know me. Third connection, nobody knows anybody. Okay, so there's relevance of people being connected with each other. So I make a post. I tag 3 people in this post. All I'm trying to do is getting people to like, comment, and share, or all the above on my stuff. So let's say that everybody in my tag post likes, comments, or shares, what that looks like. So now everything starts to expand into everybody else's feed. Okay. And then the feed of those feeds likes and comments and shares and comments. And before we know it, we're in multiple lanes of traffic all at the same time. So now what's happening is that my content is now being seen from other people that I don't know, which is driving people to my profile, right? So this is opening up opportunities for us to take things from ice cold to lukewarm. And that is the name of the game, because now we can get in front of people that we may not know. And if we keep our network tight and we're not just friends with everybody, now it's an opportunity to expand the outreach and get introduced to people. And when we do that, people are like, you know what, it's funny, I was just thinking about that guy. He goes, I know, because you like my post, right? I know because you saw my profile. All right. So as we create content and we're putting that content out, what it's going to do, it's going to allow us to get reconnected with our first connections. Okay. Because now what's going to happen is that people are going to come to our profile that we know. And now we can reach back out to those people because we see them seeing our profile. So if I post something, I see Keaton come to my profile and it's a day, all of a sudden I'm like, yo, man, what's going on? Hope all is well. We should grab a drink or grab some coffee. And he goes, dude, that's so weird. I was just thinking about you. I know, you were checking my profile. Right. The other great technique too is the green dot technique. So when you're on LinkedIn, you're going through your feed, everybody will have a green dot next to their name if they're online at the moment on the platform. This is a great thing to go through and just send a quick little, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Let's grab a drink. Hey, let's grab a meeting. If it's a full dot, that means that they are on desktop. If it's an open dot, that means that they're on mobile or tablet. And if they don't respond to you, that means that they don't like you because they're online right now. You know they are. So, all right, another big thing. Should I connect with everybody? No, you should not. Okay. You want to keep your network tight because the content that you're putting out there is going to be relevant to the people that you see. If you're just being connected with 8,000 people, then when you're posting stuff, it's just getting lost in the abyss, right? I keep my network between about 1,100 and 1,300. That's kind of where it varies. And I'm going and constantly cleaning it up because we want people to see our content that are relevant. Plus, I want to be able to utilize my network for introduction. So if Keaton comes to me and says, "Hey, I got 5 people. Do you know these people?" How many times you're like, "Dude, I don't know any of those people. I don't know who anybody is." But for me, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can make 4 out of those 5, no problem, easy peasy." And that's part of it, right? Keep it tight. Facebook, be friends with everybody, right? Facebook is more like, "Hey, look at all the stuff I'm doing." LinkedIn is like, "Hey, everybody that I know, let's hang out." All right. The other thing too is that this is another great way to like tag up with people, right? So we want to go through and we want to clean up our connections, right? So run through the network, go through the contacts, delete people, right? A, they don't get a notification. B, if you don't know the face, it's time to get rid of them. And C, it allows you to send a message that you can just put together and then copy and paste. Hey, what's going on? Hope all is well. Boom. And before you know it, you'll delete like 100 people and you'll send like 25 contacts and you'll get like 10 meetings. All right. All right. So as we're actually sitting there and we're putting content out, we're going to get people that are going to like our content, right? So that's going to open up doors for second connections. Second connections are people that are relevant to our network, that are friends with people that we know. So this is a great opportunity to see who those people are connected to, try to get introductions from those people, or get involved more in the conversation too, right? So that's part of it. So like, let's say that I want to get in front of somebody that I know. All right. I want to talk to those people, but I don't really have any connections with them because I've talked to a couple of people, they don't know them. So instead of straight up connecting with that person, what I want to do is I want to give them a follow. All right. So what a follow allows me to do is it gives me all the content that they're putting out into my feed as if we were connected. So now I'm going to start to like, comment, share all their stuff. And what's going to happen? They're going to go, "Who the frig is this person?" And then we're going to drive those people to our profile. So now an ice cold one now is a little bit warmer, right? So how that works is that we're going to go into their page, right? We're going to scroll down. We're going to go into their activity section, right? Their activity section allows us to see everything that they're posting. Okay. Some people are active, some people are not, right? Kind of the unwritten rule for this is that it's kind of like the Instagram and the Facebook rule. Don't like pictures that are like 4 months old. It's a little creepy, right? Like you want to keep it like short and sweet. Like 2 weeks is kind of the max. Maybe if they're not super active, you can do something that was like a month, but a month is probably about as old as you want to go on liking people's stuff. All right, so we're going to go into that conversation, and now what we're going to do is we're going to get involved in this person's feed. So we're going to like, comment, and share on the stuff that they're doing. All right, so think about this. We jump onto somebody that we're trying to get in front of. They get a notification that we viewed their profile. They get a notification that we started to follow them, and they get a notification that we like, comment, and shared like 4 or 5 things, and boom, we're gone. See ya. I'm out. And the first thing they know, they go, "Who the frig is this person?" And that's what we want. That's what we want. All right. The other way to get involved in the conversation is utilizing the hashtag game. So LinkedIn has done a really nice job over the last like 2 years and change to really integrate hashtags into the process. So I always live by the $1.80 strategy, right? So what that is 10 hashtags, 9 posts in each one of those hashtags. That's 90 posts a day times your 2 cents is $1.80. Okay, see how we did that?
You're going so fast. I can't even wrap my head around this. Just can you do that again?
All right, so hashtags, right? So hashtags are a way for us to get involved in the conversation, right? So think of a hashtag as a way of combing like a Google search, but in a social media only. So if we want to get involved in hashtag healthcare, I'm going to look up hashtag healthcare. And then anybody that put hashtag healthcare in that post, only those posts are going to be searchable. So what that allows us to do is now be part of that conversation in that community. So if we want to get involved in that in that industry, we're going to like, comment, and share on people's posts that have posted that hashtag, right? So now all of a sudden there's a bunch of doctors and there's a things, and we're going to go back to what we did before. So say I find out somebody from Hospital X just posted something, and it's somebody that you are going to be that would be a good contact for you. So we're going to comment on a bunch of these posts, and then we're going to go to, contact X at the hospital, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the profile page. We're going to follow that person. We're going to go to their individual content, and then we're going to actually go through and follow them as well. So we can kind of use this double whammy here, right? With finding the right people, right? And following them through the hashtag game, as well as people in our feed as well. See how that works? We're trying to get in front of people that make sense for us. And if we can do that, we can do that through industries by utilizing hashtags and or finding people that like and share our content that we're creating as well. And remember, when you put out posts and or other people put out posts, you can view everyone that's liked those posts. So say I'm in the healthcare hashtag and I see this post has like 120 likes. I can click that like button and then view everybody that has liked that comment, right? And there might be some first or second connections in there. And then we're going to play the same game. We're going to go into their profile. We're going to go into their activity. We're going to follow that person. And then we're going to get eyeballs, and we're trying to drive that traffic from our content over to our profile, which is why our profile needs to be detailed, because we're going to bring people over there. All right. The other thing too is part of your daily routine needs to kind of be sharing the love, right? So as we're sitting there and we're getting all that content that's coming through our stream, we want to just take 10, 15 minutes in the morning, like, comment, and share everybody that's in our network stuff, right? This is also a great opportunity to integrate the hashtag game into your daily routine. Now, I know 90 posts is a lot, okay? So if you do 90 posts a week, that's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever kind of traffic you can handle. But I'll tell you right now, that hashtag game really drives traffic, and part of that is getting involved in those communities and in those hashtags. But I think the best part about it is understanding that all this content and all this stuff is free, and that if you take the time, you just don't want to be the best kept secret. And that's really what it comes down to. And the way you do that is by telling everybody who you are, sharing the love, getting the word out there, and really standing out. I got 3 seconds left. I know it's a shit ton of information. It's usually longer, and I'm flipping back and forth, but that's the world we live in right now. So if you scan that barcode, that's got all my info, my contact info. So if it went a little crazy, feel free to reach out to me and we can talk offline and all that too. Not a problem with that. So
Great job, Ryan. Thank you so much for the presentation and the information. So I've got a lot of notes here. Before I dive in, I'm curious, does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, snide remarks, stories, anything you'd like to interject based on what Ryan just shared?
I
He
do.
didn't go fast enough. He needed to be like Speedy Gonzalez on 5-hour energy.
That was definitely like a fire hose of information.
yeah, I'm sorry.
That's my
Yeah,
fault.
no, listen.
That's my fault, guys, because he usually does this over about an hour presentation. So
That's
we had to
right.
consolidate that.
And
so
I
I'll
flip
take the
back and
blame.
forth between LinkedIn too and all that as well. But it's okay.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So my question, following is better than connecting if you
don't know them.
Okay.
Because what that does is it allows you to kind of let them get to know you.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense? Because you can get involved in that conversation, because think about how many people that you've met, right? That you just connect and then nothing happens. At least what this allows you to do is kind of get more involved in what's going on, and then their content comes through. Like there's nothing better than getting shares. Like if you're trying to fill a position, than, sharing people's stuff that you don't even know, because they're like, oh, this is really cool. This person is helping me out. So.
Okay, good. And you can always go back and connect once you've.
Yeah, once you kind of start to gain some momentum and some traction, you can definitely do that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love the hashtag. I've never heard that comment, so that's awesome. That was new.
Hashtag is great.
Yeah, I know. I just posted a video I did for the Virtual Commerce Network. I had at least like 10 hashtags in there. So I totally get what Ryan said. It makes sense.
Well, I mean, connecting through the hashtag, that whole concept, that's what was new to me, not using hashtags. How many do you recommend on a post?
About 5 or 6 is more than enough.
Okay.
So if you guys didn't catch that, what he's saying right now is if you go to share something on LinkedIn and you're putting the hashtags on the bottom, you want about 5 or 6 max, just for clarity. So I want, Ryan, if you don't mind, if you could run through that one last time. So what I really want you guys to catch on this is that what he's saying is, look, if there are people that you're seeking in an industry or whatever that looks like, or a particular person, and you don't have a connection to them. So how is this applicable? If you're looking for a job, if you're looking for content, if you're looking to partner with somebody, collaboration, any of these things. And what he's saying is that obviously, first and foremost, we need to have a good profile. We need to iron out our information so that a stranger, a random person can come in and say, okay, I get what this person's doing. I know how to contact them, etc. So Ryan, if you don't mind just running through real quick, again, there was a process that he had here. So you go into the person's profile, you go into their activities, and then can you run through that again real quick?
Yeah, and what I do is, so I just posted a link to YouTube. So I did this presentation with the South Jersey Chamber. So that's an hour, and that's the whole thing. Just it's a little bit older, so some stuff is not in there, and vice versa, but the majority of it is in there. I don't know if hashtags are in there, but at least it's got a good breakdown of what's going on. So yeah, so I can just kind of share, right? So let's do this. All right, so we can see that. Boom. Let's do this. All right. All right, so if we go here, all right, so what we're going to do is run through. Let's just say that I've got people. So here's one thing I was talking about. So like, as you can see, like Tom posted here, okay? So when Tom posted, he's got all these people that like his stuff. So I can click on that and I can run through. So let's click on this guy here. So this is second connection, right? I don't know him, he doesn't know me. So I click on his profile. And when it comes up, we're going to see his info, scroll down, and we're going to go to activity right here. So we're going to see all activity. And now I can go through and I can, anything that he has liked is going to be in all activity. I tend to go to posts because this is something that they've actually posted. So he posted this a day ago. So this is perfect, right? So he posted this a day ago. Come on, Tim. He posted this a day ago. One, and nobody liked it. So I can like, comment, and share on this, right? The other thing that we want to do is go back to here. This is my life, just blowing up all day. So here we go, right? And look, here's that thing I was saying about. So we can tell he's online, right? On mobile, because it's got the green dot there. So we're going to go to more. Oh my Lord. We'll go to more. We go to follow. Boom. So we follow him there, right? So now he knows that I've liked, comment, shared a bunch of his stuff, and I followed him as well too. So
I like that.
we just want to be aware that we're there, right? That's part of it. So we want them to see us and know who we are, but sometimes you don't know who it is. And how many times have you gotten someone that's like, I would like to add you to my network? And it's like, dude, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Like, what's going on? But like, if you start liking and commenting on my stuff, all of a sudden I'm going to be like, and then you reach out to me and say, hey, I would love to connect and get to know you. And then the other thing I do too, and these are the kind of things I need to add. So as soon as you connect with somebody and they accept your connection, message that person immediately. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for connecting. Would love to get to know you better. That's all I say. I say, just love to get to know you better and learn more about your company.
Ryan, I have a question for you. What would constitute, like being like creepy or stalking? Because to me, if somebody started just randomly liking, like, why the hell are they following me and what the hell do they want from me? So the question is how much do you engage in if you're trying to follow somebody where it doesn't cause any red flags and push somebody away?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it being more organically being part of the conversation on the post itself, right? So that's part of it. So like if they're posting things and then you're commenting and then you're commenting on other people's comments, it's kind of one of those things where, everybody can see everybody's stuff, right? So it's not like you're kind of coming in and just honing in. Like, honestly, it's kind of hard for people to know that unless you're like being aggressive with your stuff, right? That's the only way I would say it would come off. But the majority of the time, it's like I have people that find my stuff that I have no idea who they are, and they start liking and sharing my stuff just because somebody liked my stuff who liked it, and it just makes its way kind of down the river, and you get found. So
I think too, and Ryan, you mentioned this is Matt, if somebody all of a sudden comments on on my last 10 posts that go back 6 months.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You know, so in other words, you're going to comment on something that's current and then move
Correct.
forward with them rather
Yeah.
than move back with them, because I find that very creepy.
Yeah, relevant content that's under a month is still floating around in people's feeds. If I'm going to go back to something Josh posted like 8 months ago and I'm like, this looks like a cool event, and it was like a coffee event that was in like August of last year, that's weird. I wouldn't do that.
All right, so it seems like there's like some unwritten law for like LinkedIn etiquette, if that makes any sense.
That's internet etiquette. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's LinkedIn, that's Twitter, that's all of it. The only thing you can kind of get away with is YouTube, because the content is so relevant for everybody at different points and times.
So I've got one question for you, Ryan. I know that you broke it down into those 5 categories. So those were specifically the face, the place, the people, the hashtags, and the headlines. But my question to you is, when we're doing the breakdown in terms of sectioning out our content, I've heard a lot of different theories on this. I'm curious what your take is on this. So to go a little bit further, what I mean is that a lot of times I hear people say, you know, you should post a personal thing once a week or whatever that looks like. You
Yeah.
should post a lot of business. What's your take on this?
So I think part of it is understanding what your content calendar looks like, right? So think of it as like the old TV guide style, where it's like, Mondays at 8 o'clock, Seinfeld, you know, like that kind of deal, right? So that's what you're doing basically. For me, I'm always culture content over corporate content any day of the week. Nobody gives a shit, you know. Again, like I said earlier, the good old days of buy my book are dead and gone. No one's gonna just be like, oh, you know what? Hard posted that they do marketing. Finally, I'm gonna get a website. Like, nobody cares. They're not gonna think that way, right? It's top of mind. Live in the feed, okay? But there's ways around that where you can undercover sell by being kind of like a um, someone that understands the industry more than others. So like, you know, I go to a handful of branding and marketing sites. I do a lot of game stuff. So like, I'm posting that stuff, right? So it's showing like the way that we're doing things, but also not being like, hey, by the way, I do marketing. So it's like, what did I do a couple weeks ago? There was a couple really good. Oh, Aldi did this really awesome like campaign for like Christmas time. I don't know if anybody saw it. It was like the carrot, and it was like Mr. Scrooge, and it was like really really well done. And you know they had won a couple awards for it. So you know I posted all that and wrote like a little blurb, like 3 or 4 sentences, used a couple hashtags, and said, "Look at this great campaign. This is the kind of stuff we love to do," and that kind of thing, right? So it's kind of that undercover selling, because you want to educate people on what you do. You just don't want to. You don't want to sell to them, right? That's the balance, right? It's not the yellow pages days. You know, it's not like I got the yellow pages 3 days before everybody else. You know, that nobody wants that. It's just not the way it is. You want to stay relevant. You want to educate people, but they also want to know like, hey, Steve's been here for 10 years and it's Mary's birthday, and hey, it was nice outside. So we had a pop-up barbecue, right? And it's also understanding who your audience is and how the content is relevant to the platforms. You know, so if I go to a restaurant and I know the people that own the restaurant, my content is going to be different across 3 different platforms, right? So like Facebook, I'm going to take a selfie with everybody that I went to dinner with. Okay. On Instagram, I'm going to take a picture of my food. And on LinkedIn, I'm going to take a picture with the owners. Right? So it's the same content, but it's a different audience. So we're telling a different message. It's the same on the content that you're putting out, right? Know who your audience is and know what the story is that's relevant to what they want to see.
I love that. And we talked about this a little bit last time, right? It's people don't care who you are or what you do. They care about the pain point or the problem you solve for them and how
Correct.
you make them feel, right? And then, you know, guys, by the way, something that Ryan just mentioned that I don't think we've ever talked about before. If you are putting out posts, you want to do that on a consistent, habitual basis. Meaning, if you're putting out particular posts, you know, Monday might be your post day. Well, a really good way to do this hands-free is by using Buffer. So there are a ton of different platforms out there, by the way, but if you haven't checked out Buffer, it's free. And basically what that does is it allows you to upload your video or your posting content and put all of it in the system ahead of time. So for instance, you could put all this stuff out on Sunday, and then all of your posts are strategically positioned throughout the week, right?
So that's more of like your auto play stuff. So I think
Sure.
part of the balance to that too is then having pop-up content, right? So I do pop-up content more than anything. So like I do video work and things like that more than anything. Like I go out to events with people and I just do a 30-second video of them telling people what their business is. It's easy.
I love that. I saw one of yours the other day, by the way. And again, you know, that's something really unique that helps you stand out in the crowd. We see the same post
That's
over and
it.
over and over. Separate yourself.
It's all about giving without expectation. It's the name of
Right.
the game.
Yeah, and one little nugget, and I'll give this to you after Patty, but one little nugget, I've got a friend that does posts and he always is tagging a whole bunch of people and he gets tons of likes and comments.
Got to
And
tag.
what's that?
Got to tag.
Yeah, you got to tag. So one of the things I really like that he does is immediately after he puts the post up and tags the individual or individuals, he's texting them right away. Hey, I just threw you on a post real quick. Can you check it out and make sure that I spoke correctly or word it however it is to support that person? But that gets that algorithm up. So just a little nugget. Patty,
So the other thing too is, and I kind of took this out because it's kind of my secret sauce, but since it's a small group, I'll let everybody have it. So the other thing that you can do too is text groups, right? In LinkedIn. So you see all those pop-ups I had when I was just showing you guys shit? I'm part of like 4 or 5 different text groups, right? So on LinkedIn, we all share our content in those groups. And it's basically like, hey, everybody, if you see this, like, comment, and share. And that goes a long way.
Right.
I love that. Patty, did you have something?
Okay. Yeah, well, so that was kind of interesting too, because I've had somebody else that is a LinkedIn specialist says, no, when you tag all those people and then they don't like or share or comment, that LinkedIn picks up it's kind of a bad algorithm or whatever. So it's interesting that yours is the other comments. So that's good. Like you posted that picture of the boardroom with all those people. Was that like a stock photo or was that the people you were with? And do you need to ask permission to do that?
I mean, everybody that's in that room is part of the business community. So I've never had any objections. If you don't
Okay.
feel comfortable, ask.
Right.
I mean, it's at the point, and this is not an ego statement at all, but I have a large following on LinkedIn, so people want to be in my pictures
Yeah.
because it's
Well,
free. It's free eyeballs on them, honestly.
right.
But
Okay.
like, if you don't feel like you want to, just ask people before you do it. I mean, I'll take a picture of a room and I'd say I have been on the platform for 14 years. I've had taken thousands of pictures that I've posted on LinkedIn, and I think I've had 3 people say, "Can you remove my tag from that picture?" That's it.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is the world that we're in. Everyone's relevant, so it's
Sure,
like,
but I've also been to things where it says, you've got to sign this release in case there's pictures that are used. So that's what made me think of that.
yeah, I'm doing a lot of like local stuff. I'm kind of more of a like a nano influencer than anything, you know. So it's
Thank you.
part of it.
I love that. So does anybody else have any particular questions? I mean, guys, Ryan's a phenomenal resource. So if you have LinkedIn questions and you're either up and coming on your LinkedIn or you want to just get an edge, now's the time to really ask, because I think this is the last time we're going to talk about LinkedIn throughout the rest of this BMG.
Well,
So
that kind of brings up mine, Ryan. Like if so, I haven't been very active ever. Like LinkedIn has been this weird, I don't know, thing for me that I've never quite figured out or utilized correctly. And we've been having some great discussions, and I've gone back and changed a few things and adding to it, and I want to ramp it up here shortly. If you're kind of breaking it down and starting from zero, and I have tons of connections at this point, and
Okay.
I kind of like the way that you're talking about cleaning it out. But
That's
if
the
you're
first place
starting
I would
over,
start.
yeah, if you're starting over, can you give me like a 1, 2, 3? I would start here,
Sure.
clean this up, post this once a week, once a day. Like where if I'm gonna ramp things up, where are we starting at 0 and how do I
Yeah.
get to 60? I guess
So number 1 is go through your contacts, clean it up. Like if you don't know the face, kick them out. All right. In that same spot as we talked earlier, it's a great time to reconnect with all those people that you might not have seen in a long time. Like, oh, I haven't talked to Patty in forever, and like, hey, what's going on, right? And send that out. The next thing as I would do is I would really clean up your profile and add to it. I mean, if you look here, like I purposely have my stuff set up to where people will, if they don't leave my area, remember, like we do national campaigns for people, right? So like when people have new websites that we're doing, great content, great traffic on a website is like 20, 30 seconds. Same on LinkedIn, right? So if you don't leave my page right here, okay, you know that I work for ClearBridge. okay, that we're helping mid-market organizations revitalize their brand. Here's a bunch of things that I like to talk about: gaming, esports, branding, marketing, digital marketing, and here's some of the services that we provide. Right? So if you don't leave this section and you don't only stop to see this, I know that I got you, and at least you know what it is that I'm doing. Right? The other thing too is going through your detailed stuff, right? So like I have a featured section all taken care of, right? I have my about section, which is short and sweet and to the point. I've got, look, like here's my section for my company. It's literally one sentence. And then a breakdown of our stuff. And then a link to our clients' work. That's it. That's all people want to see. Here's another company I worked for, literally 2 sentences, and here it is. I used to run a little like nerd con. Here you go. Right? I used to own a board game shop. Boom. Here's all the awards we won. See you later. Right? So it's quick and to the point. That's all we want to see. But we can load that content up. It's just got to be short. People just don't read. We live in a headline reading generation where people read the headlines. They're like, great article. And you're like, the article is nothing like that, right? So keep it short and sweet, but also load it up with content. That's where I would start. And then after that, just find out what your routine looks like. Find out the industries that you want to get involved in and start hyping up that hashtag game. That'll really drive traffic to your stuff and allow you to kind of get involved with new contacts.
One thing I'll also add, that Brian alluded about is people now with short attention span. We are in an information overload. I know because I do IT for a living. So people typically, even if they're adults, will have this span of a 2-year-old. If you can't hook them within probably 15 to 30 seconds, it's just not going to happen. So the question is what are you going to do that's going to grab their attention where so many other things, so many other ways of information are grabbing their attention?
Correct. So like, the best content on TikTok right now is 7 seconds. Think about that. That's where we're at, right? And what we're seeing is like the boomer generation is getting older and starting to leave. There's an older Gen X population that's out there that's still not crazy with technology. Millennials are in their 40s now, right? We've got a handful of all these Zoomer kids that are out there, and now we've got young alphas out there. So there is like 5 different generations that are on the internet right now, and they're all different speeds of internet capabilities. Okay. So the alphas are the first generation that's fully digital. And they're a whole different world. I mean, they're not very old right now. They're probably 14 at this point, the oldest. But the Zoomers are in their mid-20s now. So they're the kids that are like all over the place. So remember, that content that you're putting out there needs to be relevant to people that are coming up in the world. And it's a different audience on LinkedIn. So remember, nobody cares about religion or politics or that shit. Like, no, I don't want to see pictures of your kids. I don't care that it's first day of school. It's a different animal altogether.
Yeah, on that note, actually, at the end of 2021, we passed the goldfish for the shortest attention span of any creature on Earth. So keep that in mind because that is relevant. When you're doing this type of marketing, it is you want to stand out. You see the same thing over and over and over again. I think last time we talked about instead of just having a profile picture, using that video, putting a short video out that you just introduce yourself, just a thought, different things to kind of switch it up.
And that's all new stuff that they're doing. So that's great one to do. That only works on mobile for some reason. There's a lot of different things that work. Some things only work on mobile and some things only work on the desktop, which is strange. And then turning on creator mode as well will allow you to integrate those hashtags into your profile. So creator mode, that's underneath like your activity. Yeah, Patty.
Yeah, speaking of that, and this is just something I just learned and I consider fun, and the results I've gotten so far has been really great. Anybody wants to learn how to do this is actually in the message, like you said, if you have somebody in your feed and you haven't touched base, I've been doing a video messenger, 15 seconds. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while.
That is fun.
Connect. If you want to jump on a 1-to-1, let me know and I'll send you my calendar. Boom, done. So the other day I did 7 of those in like 3 minutes. I got 4 responses pretty quickly, 3 on my schedule already. So if anybody wants how to do that, just reach out to me.
Another thing you can also add too, besides video, is audio. So for example, like you can leave up to 1 minute of audio for somebody instead of just typing something out. It makes it more personal and they'll be inclined to want to see it. Somebody left you an audio message. Okay, they put extra emphasis into wanting to talk to me. Let me go check that out.
The audio is fun.
But a minute's long, isn't it, Ryan? For something
Yeah, I
like-
mean, he said you could do up to a minute. I would definitely not do a minute. I would keep it, like I said, short and sweet. Josh, what's going on? We should grab coffee sometime. Hope all is well. Done. Goodbye.
Yeah, and I think there's a power behind that. If we look at that from the neurological standpoint, most people are receiving information visually or auditorially.
Mhm.
So if you can leverage those capacities, it's very, very helpful.
Well, remember, 85% of videos are watched with no sound online.
That's a stat. That's crazy. I've never heard that.
Yeah, because
85%.
people are like in rooms and all that, and they're just watching video with subtitles.
That's another nugget. If you don't have subtitles, make sure you get them.
Mm-hmm. So,
Well, this is awesome stuff. So guys, are there any other last minute questions, comments, concerns, stories, snide remarks, anything that you guys would like to interject or share? So one ask that I have of you, Ryan, is, and you don't have to necessarily do anything for this, I can totally survey this, but I'm curious if there's any action item or something that you would like us to do. Is there anything that's even just something small that we could go take away? And I'll throw this in the LinkedIn group, guys. I'll add you as well, Ryan. But if there's anything that we can do over the next week to enhance our LinkedIn that we've discussed today, or maybe is a little bit ahead of the curve, is there anything that stands out to you?
yeah, I would say the two biggest things. One is run through those contacts, and two is spend an hour or two and really bump up your profile. It goes a long way.
Question for you, Ryan. Are you going to be posting like the keynote from today or whatever presentation you did so people have that?
It's in the chat.
It is in the chat. Thank you.
So that's I did that with the South Jersey Chamber about a year ago. So that's a full breakdown. So
Jen, I just saw your message too. That's so funny. Yeah, so absolutely. So I'm going to put this in the chat, by the way, guys. But look, I brought that up because I do think that having these action items is really helpful. We came in, we just talked about, and Ryan, you did a phenomenal job, Ryan. Great content, great presentation. We've heard about LinkedIn before, but this was a little bit of a different approach, a little bit more in depth. But the action items are huge. I mean, I know that we had some stellar one-pagers. You guys did awesome on those, by the way. But having these little action items, these are the tiny things that we can do that are within our control to move forward. It's not just about getting the information and having a great discussion. It's about enhancing our business. It's why we're here. So I'm going to put those in the group. I'll add you as well, Ryan, so you can, connect with people. Guys, again, Ryan crushes the brand presence. So if you have any questions on that, if you want a little bit of an edge, if you just want to pick his brain, make sure you use that chat, set up a call with him.
yeah, let's talk.
Any other questions, comments, concerns before we close out? We're going to close out a little bit early, it looks like today. So if you guys have any last minute stuff, let's go ahead and dive on now.
If I could just throw an ask out real quick too. Okay, Chris.
Real quick, I know that slide you had, I think maybe like 5 different things that you suggested were like the types of posts that you make. What were those again?
Sure. So, I always do either, pictures of yourself, right, with people. Video with content itself is great. Any type of like current trends that are in your industry, right? Any type of articles that are relevant to your industry as well. And again, the big thing is if you get stuck on what to post, utilize other people's content as your own. That's why shares are huge, right? Either shares from LinkedIn or shares from other organizations.
Okay, thank you.
And I have a question. Do you have a Heavy Seas cup?
I do.
I saw it earlier, and it's one of my favorite breweries. So
Good.
That's awesome. I just put that in the chat based on the slide that Ryan had shared. So everything
Thanks.
that he just shared there. So yeah, guys, this was incredible. I, again, will post this in our LinkedIn group. If you have any questions or comments, reach out to Ryan directly. Again, the action item is going to be really simple, and you'll see this again in the group, but it's really just a matter of cleaning out your list. How many connections do we have in there that are not useful or advantageous? People that we haven't spoken to in 3 years. It's just why, why? You don't need the numbers. You don't need the space. So cleaning that side up. And then the second action item was just beefing up the profile, adding to it. One of the things I really like that Ryan mentioned today that I don't think a lot of us utilize is that featured section. going in there and adding
Huge.
something that's relevant, that helps drive content, that is going to help set, show who you are and what you do. So I'll throw that in the chat. If you guys have any other questions, just reach out. But thank you guys so much. Anybody else before we close out?
I have one quick thing. So if I don't really know everybody, so let's connect and set up a time to chat. And then, keep an ear and an eye open. We're always looking for people in the food space. So if you know anybody in that world, that's always good for us. And then my background is in tech, as you can see. I used to be in the video game industry. So always looking to connect with people in the tech space. So esports and gaming, AI, MR, metaverse, blockchain, Bitcoin, all that good stuff. So love all that stuff. I'm in a weird
Incredible.
world where I'm a tech guy that is in the marketing world. So it doesn't really happen very often.
Very unique. Love it. All right, guys. Well, look, I hope you're ready to have an incredible Tuesday. Thank you, everyone, for your questions, comments, concerns, stories. I will be putting this in the group chat. So if you need anything, let me know. And just crush your day, guys. Let's make it an amazing week. Ryan, thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
No worries. I know
Good
it was a
stuff.
lot of info. So keep me in the loop. Let me know if I can help.
I love it. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
See you.
guys. Have a great day today.